What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Okay, so I am just a few hours away from going on another trip, which will be the last one. It's been a hectic October. I moved in with my wife to my house. We got married, and we have to go to a different wedding of a friend of ours. So I'm gonna leave a few videos prepared for you guys over the next week. I will be back on Monday in full swing, but yeah, I'll leave a few videos prepared for you. I already have 3 or 4 that start tomorrow. The starting date is going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific, every single one of those videos. So there's one about Tom DeLonge. There's another one about Dr. James Lakatsky. There's another one about Jean Keel. And the other one, I'm still working through it. I can't tell you yet. But I wanted to talk to you guys about something that was addressed today on the Weaponized episode with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. As you guys know, they have been doing a bunch of interviews, and today they did a different kind of news roundup. It was very interesting because they responded to Colonel Carl Nell's statements about disclosure and about the 2017 effort being dead. I don't think Carl Nell was referring to George Knapp or Jeremy Corbell. I think that what he was referring to was to the Stars Academy and Lou Elizondo and all of that effort. Obviously, George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell don't think disclosure is dead because there are many avenues to get there. It's not just the government effort. But yeah, the legislation part of it is important. And if another initiative comes, I think it would be important. So I plan to do a separate video about that because there are many good statements from George and Jeremy. But this video is about a statement that Jeremy Corbell did last year on TMC. You guys remember it. And just to give you a little context, last year I released my piece of news about the James Webb Telescope and about this alleged object coming towards us that was course correcting. My work was about disinformation that was being spread around in unclassified settings amongst Congress people. And that's what I was trying to uncover. I wasn't saying that this event would happen. I was saying that this was information being relayed in Congress and that it was possibly misinformation or disinformation. And then Jeremy Corbell came out on a TMC documentary to say this.
So UFOs are real, and they've been here a long time, and that's the truth. But the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that, the nature of that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from. I know specifically what document from the 70s initiated the idea of that lie. A classified document. That is the lie you will be told. You're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. That's the lie. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I sent you 2 texts today with a year. Not from me. Nope. I'm not going to propagate that lie.
Okay, so now we have a new statement from Jeremy Corbell on the latest Weaponized, and it goes into more detail on how he found out about this alleged lie. And more context to this. When I released my news piece, everybody took me out of context, just like they did with him. And I can tell you that there was a lot of people within the intel community that approached me to talk to me about this. And not just the intel community, the UFO researching community as well. Because I think that if there are bad actors in this field, many of them are within the UFO researching community. And now Jeremy is coming out talking about potential disinformation agents and intelligence community officials approaching him to try to force him to talk about this as if it was going to happen. So let me give you what Jeremy Corbell stated on the latest Weaponized about this, because I think it's a really interesting exchange. And the way he starts with it is by talking about Three Eye Atlas and by being very diplomatic towards Dr. Abby Loeb. Because, Dr. Abby Loeb is a Harvard astronomer, but he's also part of the movement because his field is investigating these objects, the interstellar objects, and investigating the little pieces that fell on the seabed. That's what he's doing. He's being very open minded about it. He's being very thinking outside of the box about it. Recently, he just stated and confirmed the report that we made here about him being a guest on Joe Rogan very soon. And he said that he was going to release some news, breaking news. So we'll see what he talks about. But for now, let me show you what Jeremy Corbell states here, alongside George Knapp as well. So here it is.
But there is going to be pushback. Those hearings were great. The pushback, I would suspect, will be to try to influence Congress with disinformation and lies. That's what I suspect is going to happen in the future. So we just have to be fastidious. We have to document everything. We have to bring the facts to the table and make sure people don't fall for them. There's a lot of disinformation and misinformation. You and I are probably, again, like the canary in the coal mine. Let's just talk about it. This brings me to the Atlas thing. Let's, if it's okay, let's jump into that.
Sure.
Everybody's asking what my opinion is on the Three Eye Atlas, object coming to Earth. Now, I'm not an astronomer. I'm not a scientist, but why they're asking me is because I made a statement back in January saying that, hey, there's a lie coming. And of course, it was part of a show and it was just but if you watch the whole show, you kind of understand what's going on. And I've made a ton of statements about why I would say something like that. I'm not hiding and just saying it. I've explained to people why multiple times, but people are asking about that. Now, I don't know anything about that particular comment. I read the same stuff as everybody else. The trend I'm realizing, our friend in the disclosure movement, Avi Loeb, he talks about these unique characteristics and he's not.
Wait, so just so you know, yesterday, Dr. Gary Nolan was on the Soul Foundation YouTube channel. And when he talked about Three Eye Atlas, he referred to it as a meteor. So he also thinks it's just a meteor, just so you know.
Wrong about that, but it is a consensus of one. I don't see a bunch of other astrophysicists and people working on this stuff really echoing that same sentiment. I do love his open-mindedness, and he knows far better than me, and he's investigating the unexplained, not explaining the uninvestigated. So I've got a lot of happiness and joy for the way that he's looking at this problem set. But I will stand firm in that I said in January, and I actually said it earlier, but it was, I think it was played in January, that there was something coming, that people were going to try to convince the public at large that there was a spacecraft slowly moving to Earth. And that didn't come out of thin air. That wasn't just something I made up before I sat down. That came from years of people trying to impose upon me something to use my mouth, that there was this threat coming, that there's a 1970s document that I believe to be classified for sure. And, I don't have the ability to get that out to people, but it postulated this. So there were so many warning signs that this was going to happen. I finally said the quiet part out loud. Intelligence agents from multiple agencies durationally over years would call me and slowly edge at me with this theory and this idea to try to get me to say it. And it felt so manipulative, I had to call it out. So that is specifically why I said it, because I felt that pressure over time. I know you've been told, oh, there are these hints of big things coming. Well, if it is, fucking say it. If it is, then you have a duty to say it. But no one's standing up and raising their hand. So I do think it's absolute nonsense. I think that you're going to see, a comet that's, maybe unique by material pass by the Earth and life goes on. I'm pretty high confidence that that's what's going to happen. But again, I don't know. I'm not an astronomer or anything. I just know what intelligence agencies have tried to push on me.
A lot of people have jumped to a conclusion. Aha, Jeremy was talking about this one. How did he know? And, I was wondering that myself since you hadn't shared it with me.
But you've heard it. You've heard it, George.
Yeah, of course.
2027 to 2036. Ooh, a big thing is coming. Okay, what is it then? How'd you find out about it?
I've been
fucking yeah, dude.
Around long enough to remember Hale Bopp. Hale Bopp. Art Bell.
This is where it gets dark, people, because George Knapp is going to recall something that Jason Somoza actually recalled on his brilliant episode about Jacques Vallée, and that is the Heaven's Gate cult, which George is going to explain right now.
A lot of people saying, oh, there's something following it, a big spaceship, end of the world coming, and then the crazy cult people in Southern California all drank the Kool-Aid and died, killed themselves so they could meet up with it. Bad stuff can happen when you do that kind of crazy prognostication. And I'll tell you, I saw this last night on X. Somebody had a picture of Avi Loeb, and they're quoting him as saying, if you're going to take a vacation, you better do it before October 29th, because this is it. And you know what? I don't know that Dr. Loeb said anything even remotely close to that.
Oh, he did.
Oh, shit, Jeremy. Yeah, he did. Maybe this is something related to what he's going to say on Rogan, too. But we got to wait. But yeah, he did. That's why I've been trying to suggest Dr. Loeb that saying stuff like that is not okay, because there's a lot of crazy people out there that believe anything, even if you're being tongue in cheek or whatever. They believe anything. And if you say shit like that, that causes an effect in people that are like constantly fearing this. To this day, since I reported on that James Webb stuff, the people who didn't understand it, I still get to this day comments and questions of when is this coming? What do you know about this object? And Jeremy just said the quiet part out loud. It's intelligence community folks who are trying to push this for whatever reason, and they see different content creators, podcasters, UFO researchers, and they keep pushing it on them until they say it out loud. That's what's been happening. And we got to be really on our toes about this, because anything that happens related to misinformation in the UFO community, it always has an intent behind it. We got to find out what that intent is. And I'm happy that Jeremy is calling this shit out, because he should. Anybody should.
Take your vacation before October 29th.
Yeah, I saw the video clip. But again, it's all about context, right? So when you're doing an interview and you're talking with people, he was probably kind of making a joke. He wasn't doing a doomsday thing, but it becomes like, biblical scripture. Everybody's got it. Look, Avi Loeb is fighting to investigate the unexplained, not to explain the uninvestigated. That is awesome, but it's the media and social media doing it to itself. I just, I don't know, man.
Let me know what you think about this one, because I just wanted to give you more context to what happened to me as well, because I've been seeing this for a while. And there are many predictions. Yesterday with Dr. Julia Mosbridge, I spoke to her about this because she studies precognition. And when I spoke to my friend Feppo as well, he keeps getting messages from people who allegedly see stuff that is allegedly going to happen, and nothing ever happens. Back in May, 29th of May, people were approaching him to his channel, telling him that a comet was coming and it was going to hit Earth on May 29th, and it was complete bullshit. Nothing happened. If alternate realities exist, maybe it happened in one of those. I don't know. But here in this one, as far as I know, so far, it's misinformation and missed predictions from people who like to do that, who think they're doing a service to people by predicting shit, and they don't know how dangerous that can be. The best example is probably that Heaven's Gate cult, but there are many. I already did a video on UFO cults that people also took out of context, but it's very dangerous doing this because if you think about it deeply, the UFO topic is dangerously moving towards the creation of a new religion. This is something that Dr. Diana Pasolka postulates. This is something that John Keel talked about back in the day, that it was very possible and the signs are there. So we need to be really careful with how we engage with people's beliefs because when they see something that they can't explain, the go to de facto reaction is to think of it as something divine or a deity. And that's just not the case. It's just something that is too advanced for us to understand right now, but it's not impossible to understand. That's the way I see it. But yeah, it's getting pretty flooded out there with disinformation. And I saw a recent post from the Astral on X, who is a producer on the Need to Know podcast. And he made a really cool suggestion that I think should happen because I don't know if you have noticed since Elon Musk took Twitter and named it X, he created these community notes. And I don't really see community notes on UFO disinformation. So if you get a chance and you see a UFO video or news that are sensational, there's an option to request for a community note. I invite you to do that. That way we can filter out the bullshit a little bit better because this topic is very real. It isn't important to investigate, but it is also flooded with misinformation and disinformation. And I think that everybody needs to do their part. Everybody is responsible to point out any inconsistencies that you see, because that's the way that we're going to get to what's actually going on faster. What they want is for us to take much longer than we are. And it's going to be difficult because the internet is so vast, but it's not impossible. That's what I genuinely believe. So let me know what you think in the comments about this, about Jeremy's confession of being approached by icy folks to push him on the alleged incumbent object thing. And what do you think about Professor Avi Loeb's Three Eye Atlas work? What do you think about it overall? Let me know in the comments. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's all you need to do in order to help us, and it is what helps us the most. So thank you. But if you want to support us in other ways, there's a few links down there you can choose from. You can become a member on YouTube, or you can support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated. So thank you. And that's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp always. Bye.